from Phoenix, Arizona, spring training baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin. We are in the Cactus League, and it is another picture-perfect day for the grand old game. This afternoon, it's the Cincinnati Reds and the Milwaukee Brewers, division rivals here in Phoenix. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Maryvale. Great to have you with us alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Today, the Reds and the Brewers. And today, we're going to get a chance to see Kyle Lohse. It'll be his second start. And, Rock, he has proven himself to be one of the most durable starters the Brewers have ever had.
Well, no doubt. Entering his third season, Kyle Lohse has not been on the disabled list for the Brewers or the St. Louis Cardinals since 2010. So he's a guy that will take the baseball. He's had winning records in each of his last 4 seasons. 13 wins a year ago for Milwaukee, an earned run average at 3.5. Mr. Reliable. It looks as though he may go on opening day.
Well, Kyle Lohse is on the mound for the second time here this spring. Beautiful day for baseball. Lots of families are out. Matt Clark, the hottest hitter for the Brewers. He's in the lineup, as well as Carlos Gomez. Todd Frazier returns to the lineup for the Reds as well. We got the lineup to the first pitch coming your way next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Is the skipper of the Cincinnati Reds, Brian Price, in his second season, and he is putting the lineup together for the spring training matchup, the Reds and the Brewers. And it's brought to you by Potawatomi. Bring your night to life. Christopher Negron will lead off. Brian Pena will catch and bat second. Todd Frazier, after dealing with back problems, he is returning to the lineup here today. Middle of the order, Brennan Bosch. It's fourth. Marlon Byrd in left field batting fifth. Donald Lutz will be at first and batting sixth. And then the bottom of the order, it's Ivan De Jesus, Felix Perez, and Irving Falou. And the Milwaukee Brewers in their home whites. Kyle Lohse will get the start for the Brew Crew today. Lohse on his way to the mound. His second spring training start. He pitched very well in his first outing against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And a number of regulars in the starting lineup for the Brewers once again today. Rock, the numbers on Kyle Lohse, his final year of his 3-year contract coming up.
And it was a good one, too, for the Brewers. He has been Mr. Consistency, as we talked about on the broadcast open. 31 appearances. I should say starts, 2 complete games, a 13-win season for Lohse, earned run average at about 3.5, and has missed only 1 start in 2 years, has not been on a disabled list as a member of the Brewers, and as we mentioned, looked very good his first time out here in spring training.
Well, Lohse set up to be the Brewers opening day starter if it holds as it is right now. Lohse and then Garza and then Willie Peralta make up the top 3 in the rotation. Mike Fiers and Jimmy Nelson at the back end. And barring any injuries, Lohse is on that trend to be the opening day starter April 6th against the Colorado Rockies. And Rock, let's check the Brewers defense courtesy of the Marshfield Clinic.
Yeah, a lot of starters in there for Ron Renicky today. Park, Gomez, and Schaefer in the outfield. Ramirez, back-to-back days with Ramirez in the lineup. Segura and Jeanette up the middle. Matt Clark red hot. He's 6 for 10 with a couple of home runs so far this spring. And Maldonado back behind home plate. He'll catch Lohse. He was back there yesterday with Jimmy Nelson on the mound.
Yeah, good to see Carlos Gomez back in the lineup. A lot of the starters on an every other day rotation, guys like Ryan Braun, Chris Davis. But you do have Jeanette and Segura back in there. Both played yesterday. Aramis Ramirez back in the lineup as well. And the two-time All-Star Carlos Gomez, the headliner in this lineup here this afternoon. We're set for baseball at Maryville Baseball Park. Spring training home of the Brewers. Lohse, the former Red, ready to match up against his old team. Negron leads off, and the first pitch is a ball, and away we go. Christopher Negron playing center field. Billy Hamilton not in the lineup. He's been out with a shoulder injury. Crashed into a wall earlier this spring. And Negron pops this one a mile high, not a cloud in the sky. And Segura is there to make the play, and that's how the afternoon begins for Kyle Lohse.
Well, the starting pitching for Milwaukee has been very good in the first week, although the Brew Crew does not have a win. 0-5, you don't worry too much about wins and losses, but at some point you got to pick up a victory, and today the Brewers are hoping they're able to get one.
Cincinnati comes in with 4 wins. They're 4-3-1. They're without some of their key players as well today. No Joey Votto, who's played in 2 spring training games after coming back from a quad injury. Reds are happy to get Todd Frazier back today and back in the 3-hole. No Brandon Phillips in the lineup. Reds made a lot of changes this offseason, trading away Matt Latos, was probably the headliner. Alfredo Simon also traded away. They're going with the youth. They've got a lot of young, talented pitching prospects and a former pitching coach, Brian Price, to give their young guys a shot.
And no Ryan Ludwig, hampered with injuries last year. And Reds are hoping that starting rotation that they have, including today's starter Johnny Cueto, able to continue what he's been able to do. A 20-game winner was Cueto last year. Brian Price is hoping his 2 big left-handed hitters are going to be healthy this year, Jay Bruce and Votto.
Yeah, Bruce has been in the wheel. He's played regularly this spring. Votto just returning Saturday. There's a called strike 3. Brian Pena is down on strikes. Lohse hit the inside corner.
Yeah,
2 up, 2 down.
2-seam fastball starts in off the plate, and then with that late movement, tails and catches the edge. Vintage Kyle Lohse, who looks like his first 2 starts, he's got pretty good control.
Lohse keeps himself in great shape. Rock mentioned how durable he has not been on the disabled list since 2010. And it looked like his career was in jeopardy back then. It's Todd Frazier with a swing and a miss. Lohse had nerve damage in his forearm, playing then for the Cardinals, and Cardinals general manager Walt Jocketty, who's the GM here with the Cincinnati Reds now, and just wasn't sure quite what it was. He couldn't get feeling in his hands. His elbow was bothering him. After that surgery, though, he has been extremely durable. Next pitch, Frazier takes one down and in.
Kyle missed 1 start last year, but did not go on the disabled list. There's Doug Melvin, Walt Jocketty.
And Dan O'Brien is up there, one of Doug Melvin's assistants, who used to be the general manager with the Cincinnati Reds. Jocketty and Melvin, although they are competitive general managers in the same division, they're very friendly. Longtime friends, and they do spend a lot of time together when these 2 teams match up. There's a swing and a miss. Frazier is down on strikes. And how about that start for Kyle Lohse? He goes 3 up, 3 down with a couple of Ks. Brewers are coming up. Yankee and the Brew Crew ready to line him up against Johnny Cueto and the Reds. The 6th spring training game of the Cactus League. Here's the Potawatomi Brewers lineup. Jeanette, Segura, and Gomez at the top. Ramirez, Parra, and Matt Clark in the middle, with Maldonado, Rogers, and Schaefer rounding it out. And Johnny Cueto's first pitch is in there for a strike. Scooter Gennett in the leadoff spot. Johnny Cueto, all-star pitcher and the unquestioned ace of the Cincinnati Reds. They need a big year out of Cueto if the Reds are going to contend.
Yeah, his first 20-win season. You take a look at the Reds' defense. Take a look at that in a minute. But led the league in innings pitched, strikeouts, starts, and those 20 wins. 20 and 9 last year.
There's a base hit to right. Scooter Gennett singles to start the game offensively for Milwaukee.
Check it out, a nice easy swing by Scooter. Pitch up in the strike zone and able to put a nice swing on it and bang it into right field. Scooter's been getting a lot of playing time and working predominantly out of the leadoff spot in the batting order.
And back in the 2 spot is Gene Segura. We did talk to Renicky late last week. He said there will not be an opportunity to see Segura and Gennett at the top of the lineup. You wouldn't see a Gennett lead off, Segura batting second. Typically, Carlos Gomez is another guy that Renicky is looking at in that leadoff spot. But whoever wins the leadoff spot in the batting order, then that's going to force either Gennett or Segura back down toward the bottom of the order, probably 8th. Cueto, a quick move and a check on Scooter Gennett.
And the reason for that, neither one of them are big on-base percentage guys. They don't walk too much. They like to swing the bat. They like to have at least most of the guys at the top of your order, guys that will take a walk and get on base.
On the ground, foul. And let's check that Cincinnati defense, courtesy of Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine.
Yeah, newcomer Marlon Byrd, he's going to be playing left field. Christopher Groen, Brendan Bosch, who young kid has a chance to make this ball club. Frazier, DeJesus, Irving Flew, he was here in spring training with the Brewers. David Lutz and Brian Payne behind home plate. Devin Mesoraco will get the majority of the catching for Cincinnati.
Mesoraco has been nursing a concussion and has not played recently. Reds are a little banged up, as he mentioned. They're still awaiting the return of Homer Bailey as well, who had surgery this offseason, forearm surgery. He is throwing off the mound and throwing side sessions and is expected back soon, but the Reds still trying to put their starting rotation together. But Johnny Cueto sits at the top. Very durable pitcher last year, made all 34 starts. He led the major leagues in games started, led the National League in innings pitched last year. Segura lines one to center, a base hit. Gennett around second, on his way to third, and the throw goes to second base. The Brewers have him at the corners to start it here this afternoon.
Well, both base hits coming on pitches up in the strike zone. Let's check it out, see what it is. Look like a slider. And Segura, who's been working on staying back a little bit better. You can see the way he was on the back leg on that swing, and it certainly worked on that pitch and lined it into center field.
So first and third for Carlos Gomez. Sitting in that 3 spot in the batting order here this afternoon in the absence of Ryan Braun. Gomez figures to hit leadoff or 5th this year. Renicky still toying with his lineup and hasn't been so forward with what he wants to do, but he does like Gomez. If Gennett can take that leadoff spot, if he proves he's going to be a good enough on base guy, I think Renicky would prefer to have Gomez in more of a run producer's role. As he skies this one to left, should be deep enough to score Gennett, and there to make the catch is the center fielder Negron, and Gennett will score easily. So the Brewers are on the board first. Sac fly and an RBI for Carlos Gomez.
And not sure Marlon Byrd ever saw it. He was shading his eyes. The sun is really tough out in left and center. And Negron had a better angle on it and made a circus catch on a relatively routine fly ball. Won't be the first time you see that today.
Marlon Byrd was standing under it like he had it lined up, but he was 15 feet from that baseball.
Actually, won't be the last time you see that, I should say. It was the first time. But yeah, it's a tough sun field. We talk about it every day, but it does play a role in these games.
Now we see a lot of routine fly balls dropped. There you see Byrd, and he's kind of like playing the role that, oh, I've got it, and Negron comes flying in to make the catch. Good play by the Reds center fielder to get the out. Now Ramos Ramirez at the plate.
I guess with Billy Hamilton out in center field, you don't have to have much range in left and right. He can run down just about anything.
Now the Reds will have Bruce in right, Hamilton in center, newcomer Marlon Byrd, the left fielder. They're pretty well set. Not a whole lot of jobs with the Cincinnati Reds. Around their infield, they've got Frazier and Cozart, Brandon Phillips, of course Joey Votto at first. Mesoraco, one of the top catchers in this very talented Central Division for catchers. A little half swing. Ramirez goes, unable to check it. 2 balls and a strike on Ramos Ramirez.
Hey, Ramirez played in yesterday's ball game. You can see what he did last year. 133 games. I think the Brewers would like to see him play a few more this year.
Little jam shot. A pop-up, foul territory. And there is out number 2.
And Ramirez and a few of the other guys are on a 2 in a row and then a day off type of a schedule down here in spring training. Cueto able to get this one in on his hands. You can see he catches it back in the strike zone and they pop out to the first baseman in foul ground.
Now Ramirez, a guy who likes a lot of at-bats in the spring. And he's been out there plenty. What will be his final spring training? Announced that he will retire at season's end. Gerardo Parra with 2 away. The Brewers have a run in here in the first. Just underway from Maryville Baseball Park. Spring training baseball. Gotta love it. Sun shining brightly. It's been just a beautiful week of weather. Temperatures expected to soar into the mid-80s today. Easy to get loose on a day like this.
And it's supposed to continue through next week. Too bad, huh?
Can be a bit of a shock to the system for teams like the Reds and the Brewers when you finally break north after being in Arizona for the spring. Now Parra's been in the news a little bit this week. He's already secured that 4th outfield position, but he's been taking ground balls and working in some drills at first base the last few days. Could be an option there if Renicky needs him.
Oh, he's so good in the outfield. You figure he could man first base with a little bit of work.
Now Renicky was saying that if Gerardo Parra got serious about playing first base, he could be one of the better defenders in the game. He has great hands, great instincts for the position already. There's a delayed steal, and Segura is going to be in there.
There you go, a little throwback work from Segura.
The coverage was late. Segura swiped second base, and a runner in scoring position here with 2 outs.
Now the delayed steal, you take the crow hops, and you actually steal it on the middle infield. Sometimes those guys, when they don't see a break right away, they forget about you. And as you can see, shortstop DeHace is a little bit late getting over there.
2-2 on Parra. And it's so easy to look at that scenario and say the catcher, just throw it to the base. It's so difficult to throw to an empty base. Yeah. Instincts just tell you otherwise.
So Greg Brock move back in the day. Greg Brock was pretty proficient at the delayed steal. You don't see many.
I'll see if Parra can pick him up. He's out in front in an off-speed pitch. Keeps the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You set up the delayed steal with a lot of crow hops. You do it every time. You saw the way Segura was doing that, kind of jumping out about 3 or 4 times and getting back, and you do the same thing and then you take off, catch the middle infield napping. Yeah, watch the crow hops. You can see what he's doing, and then by the time DeJesus gets over there, it's too late. A little bit behind the bag.
Now for Segura, just his first steal of the spring. Brewers haven't been running a whole lot. They have 4 stolen bases as a team. Another 2-2 this time upstairs. Ball 3. Parra has worked it full. Johnny Cueto has 19 wins in a season back in 12. 20-game winner last year. And a first-time All-Star. He finished 2nd in the Cy Young voting. There's a called strike 3. 10th pitch of the at-bat. And Parra is down on strikes. He didn't like the call. Inning is over, but the Brewers get a run on a couple of hits. RBI from Gomez. The blankets spread out on the grass berm. Great way to soak up some rays and watch a little Cactus League baseball. A tremendous time of year. Brewers have the early lead, 1-0, getting a run off Johnny Cueto. Kyle Lohse back at it. Impressive in his first inning. 3 up, 3 down, 2 strikeouts. He threw just 12 pitches. He threw 8 strikes. And facing Brennan Bosch to lead off for the Reds. Big spring for Bosch. He is not on the Cincinnati Major League roster. He's trying to play his way to Cincinnati after spending a year in the minor leagues last year with the Angels. Had a huge year last year. Bosch is having a terrific spring so far. He has a couple of homers, 5 runs batted in.
He's got extensive major league experience. He's been with a few teams in the big leagues.
That one's right off the end of the bat. Jeanette knocks it down. No throw able to be made. And that'll be an infield hit for Brennan Bosch.
I mean, with Detroit, the Yankees, the Dodgers, and now trying to break with this Cincinnati ball club. Took a little off the fastball away, off the end of the bat, but rolls it up the middle. No play for Jeanette.
So the first base runner for the Reds, and that'll bring up Marlon Byrd. Now Bird's tour of the National League Central continues. He has spent some time with the Cubs, with the Pirates, and now with the Cincinnati Reds. And that hit him. Got away from Lohse. So after an infield hit to start the inning, Marlon Byrd is hit by a pitch. And 2 on here for Lohse with nobody out.
Yeah, had pinpoint control in the first inning, and this one gets away from him. Nowhere for a Bird to go. Gets him on the back of the arm. He's got a pad there. It's not going to bother him too much. He stands right on top of home plate, so he's used to getting hit.
I don't know if you could come.
Well, big Donald Lutz now playing first base today. Lutz in kind of that tweener mode right now. He's got Joey Votto in front of him at the major league level, so with a healthy Votto like the Reds are expecting this year, there's not a whole lot of playing time at first base, but Lutz has proven to be a big power hitter.
Saw him last year at the end of the season against Milwaukee.
Lohse looking for that ground ball here. Took a little off and a big swing and a miss. Watertown, New York is hometown for Donald Lutz.
He was born there, resides in Germany.
Lohse with 2 on behind him. And Lutz fouls it away. Lohse will be 36 years of age this season. He'll turn 37 in October. Lives here in the Phoenix area.
The last few years has been doing some of his best work. You would figure he's not done after this year. Been very consistent over the last 4 years.
That ball is hit high in the air, right field. Only question, is it fair or foul? That is way out, but foul.
Up on the walkway out there in foul territory in right field. Wow. Tried to come in on him. And check it out, Lutz able to pull the hands in, but not able to keep it fair. Gets the big part of the bat on it and hits it a ton.
Now Lutz has big power. He only has 1 major league homer, but put up some big power numbers in the minor leagues. He's had a couple of 20 homer seasons in minor league baseball. Out in front of that one a little bit, pops it up. That's going to be in the seats. Lohse was a great athlete coming up in high school in California. He played football, basketball, and baseball, of course. He's an excellent golfer. He's a scratch golfer to this day. There's a swing and a miss. Got him with a changeup. Lutz strikes out, and Lohse with 3 Ks already to the first 6 hitters he's faced.
Yeah, early in spring training, these off-speed pitches very effective against these hitters. Changeup, Lutz way out in front. He was right on the fastball, but out in front of the changeup. That's a good pitch for him. That cutter, sinker, throw a curveball, slider, and a changeup. Never know what you're going to get at any point in the count.
One out, first and second for Ivan DeJesus, who gets the call at shortstop today. No Zach Cozart in the Reds lineup here at Maryvale. Way inside, almost hit him. Yeah, Lohse, last year of his contract, certainly wants to continue and feels like his arm is in good shape. His body's in good shape. He has a pretty stringent workout program. He looks much younger than his 36 years. Has reinvented himself on the mound. He came up in the Twins organization and was a hard thrower, went for the strikeouts, pitched up in the zone, and then ended up in Cincinnati and Philadelphia before he was finally sent to the St. Louis Cardinals. And that's where everything changed for him with St. Louis under the tutelage of Dave Duncan. And he still gives a lot of credit to Dave Duncan for helping him evolve into the pitcher that he is today, where he mixes and matches, takes a little off, adds a little here or there, and works the corners.
And came up with that two-seam fastball. Got a lot of confidence in that pitch. Been a difference maker for him.
In the air to center. Gomez makes the play. Both runners hold their ground, and there is out number 2 for Lohse.
And nothing routine at Maryvale in the outfield. Gomez dropped the ball very similar to that. That's why you see him chuckling out there in the outfield. Tough sun.
Even for a Gold Glover.
Yeah. Man, Lohse with 13 wins last year. Could have been a lot better. He was the victim of 7 blown saves last year, so pitched a lot better than those 13 wins would indicate.
Oh, he is the unquestioned leader of the staff. He is the guy that keeps all the starters together in line. He and Matt Garza have taken on that role, but Lohse is the veteran presence down there. He's got a lot of respect from his teammates. He's a pretty quiet, soft-spoken guy, but he's very funny, and he's a little sneaky too. He's always got a practical joke or two in mind for someone. Facing Felix Perez here, the Reds designated hitter with 2 outs.
He has the ability to know when you got to lighten things up once in a while. I mean, it could come at any time, be in the clubhouse, the dugout, on the airplane. You never know. The intensity on the field and a good balance of humor, and tries to teach a little bit to these young guys.
On the ground, right to first, and Clark will pitch it to Lohse, and that will retire the side. So Lohse works around a leadoff single and a hit batter. Strands a pair. He's got 2 scoreless in the books.
second inning, and host your event in style in one of Miller Park's 5 spectacular all-inclusive areas with incredible views, exclusive amenities, and complimentary food and beverage. All-inclusive areas are sure to leave a lasting impression. For details, call 414-902-4777 or visit brewers.com/all-in.
Now there's Rick Kranitz, a Brewer pitching coach, having a chat with Kyle Lohse. Looks like Lohse is set to return for a 3rd inning after 2 scoreless in the books. Well, Matt Clark leads off for the Brewers. He's been one of the big stories this spring. Clark with 2 home runs this spring, including one yesterday against Kansas City. He's had homers in back-to-back games, and they have both been late home runs. Clark hit a 9th inning home run yesterday to bring the Brewers within a run. His homer against the Dodgers on Sunday was a game-tying home run in the 9th. And that ball's hit well to left. Marlon Byrd is there, and Clark is retired.
Yeah, baseball looking pretty big to Matt Clark right now. He's hitting everything right on the nose. That was one of those. Cueto tried to speed things up a little bit and sneak it by Clark, but Matt able to get pretty good wood on it. You never know what you're going to get out of Cueto. Different release points. He'll speed up his delivery once in a while.
Here's Martin Maldonado with 1 away.
Sometimes it seems like he's just having a good time just messing with guys out there in the mound.
Yeah, I think you're right. Keeping himself entertained.
That's how good he is.
He was chatting it up with Gene Segura earlier. Cueto in the last year of his deal as well. It's been a 5-year contract. Been an excellent contract for the Reds. He did miss a good part of 2013, but he's had a lot of success with Cincinnati, and he came back last year, set everybody's minds at ease in Reds country by putting up Cy Young type statistics. And had it not been for Clayton Kershaw, Johnny Cueto would have a Cy Young award. Kershaw winning not only the Cy Young but also the MVP in the National League last year. For pitchers who are in the National League right now, it's kind of like being in the Michael Jordan era in the NBA as far as the MVP goes. With Clayton Kershaw, you're dealing with one of the great talents. Comes along once in a generation.
He works quickly, he throws a lot of strikes, he doesn't walk many. Led the league in strikeouts last year. And he pitches in a ballpark that is really tough to have a low earned run average, and he had a 2.25 ERA.
As a called strike 3, Maldonado knew it, and the Brewers backup catcher is the second strikeout for Cueto.
Like it's a changeup right here, right at the top of the strike zone. Maldonado just watches it go by. He'll throw any of his pitches at any time. Fastball, slider, changeup. He's got a good changeup.
So 2-men are out. Jason Rogers, the designated hitter today, he's trying to fight his way onto this major league roster. Like the Reds, the Brewers don't have many jobs open either. As Rogers slightly off the end of the bat, that's down for a base hit. Clean single to left for Jason Rogers.
We saw Rogers at the end of the year last year. Didn't get a whole lot of playing time. Didn't get many at bats, but I just think he has a chance to be an impact player at the major league level. He's got to wait his turn.
And here's another guy battling for a big league roster spot, Logan Schaefer, and trying to bunt his way on. Schaefer's been playing a lot. Yesterday had 2 stolen bases in the same sequence and scored a run. Also had a base hit. Brewers are going to carry 5 outfielders this season. Schaefer trying to be the 5th outfielder in that mix. Good breaking ball for a strike.
All 3 of the starting outfielders for the Brewers are right-handed hitters. So you got Roto Par, a lefty. And that might be a nice balance with Logan Schaefer from the left side as well.
Schaefer, shallow center. Negron went back, now coming in, and that'll retire the side. So Johnny Cueto gives up a first inning run, works a scoreless second inning despite a 2-out hit, and we head to the third. 2 in the books in the Cactus League. We head to the top of the third, and a reminder, tomorrow the Big East tournament tips off. Marquette takes on Seton Hall at 6 Central, followed by Creighton and DePaul at 8:30 Central. Big East tournament presented by New York Life begins tomorrow, and the only place to see it, Fox Sports 1, also streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Lohse back to work, starts his third inning. Top of the order for the Reds due up. You've got the 9th batter, Falou, to lead off, and then Negron, the leadoff hitter, and then Brian Pena. On the ground to Jeanette, easy as it gets, and 1 away for Lohse.
You figure his style's got to really work well early in spring training. That big arsenal of off-speed pitches, able to keep the baseball down, and just continues to pour into strikes.
Lohse will be starting his 15th year in the big leagues. He got called up for the first time at the age of 22 back in 2001. That was as a Minnesota Twin. Mentioned he spent a little time in Cincinnati. He was traded from the Twins to the Reds in 2006, and then he spent part of 07 in Cincinnati. He was ultimately shipped to Philadelphia after that. Negron waves and misses at a breaking ball. That wasn't even close.
That's the thing. I mean, good breaking pitches, tough on hitters early on in spring. Guys aren't used to seeing them.
One and two, and Negron into shallow right center field. That's going to fall, a base hit. 2-strike hit for the Reds leadoff hitter.
Right off the end of the bat, he hung in there nicely and was able to get enough out to dump it into center field.
Cincinnati with their second hit, but both of the hits have not been hard hit balls. Had an infield hit by Bosch, and that end of the bat single there by Negron. Lohse has also hit a batter. Here's Brian Pena now. Pena is a good backup catcher. Gives you a little thump off the bench.
Switch hitter.
Hey, turn up there. Here we go.
Always helpful when you have your backup catcher able to hit from both sides of the plate.
Reds are very pleased with their catching situation with Mesoraco, a terrific talent and an all-star as their starter. But Mesoraco's had 3 different concussions. He's battling a mild concussion this time around. They're being very cautious with him. And a little bit of a cause for concern with Mesoraco. He's such a good bat as well. Pena rolls over one. Clark scoops it up. And did he get him? He did not. Pena able to get by him. Should have been a routine out. Instead, 2 on with 1 out as Pena reaches.
Kind of got caught in between on the hop and kicked it. Brewers defense this spring has not been very good. They have flashed some pretty good leather from time to time. Either come in and you wait back. He got caught in between and tried to swipe tag and missed him. There's another mistake by the Brewer defense.
And that'll send Todd Frazier to the plate with 2 on. Big hack.
He got caught in between and tried to make the adjustment, missed the swipe tag, and Brian Pena able to get to first base.
Oh, splintered his bat right off the end. And a new bat for Frazier. Jeremy Jeffress getting loose in the Brewers bullpen. Looks like Lohse is coming up against his pitch limit. Pretty strict on the old pitch count this time of the spring training exhibition schedule.
It's not innings, it's pitches. You want to increase your pitch count each and every time. Figure Lohse maxing out at about between 45 and 50.
Now Brewers looking for a double play ball here. The 0-2 is high. Frazier, an all-star last year. First time all-star. In his 4th big league season. Had a great year. He had 29 homers. He drove in 80.
Very good opposite field power for Frazier. Not a bad first baseman.
Participated in the home run derby.
Played first a lot with Joey Votto on the disabled list last year. Played third base.
One ball, 2 strikes on him. And he spoils another one foul. He's been a streaky hitter, Frazier, and he does strike out quite a bit. At 139 strikeouts last year. Only 52 walks, but he is a major threat at the plate. And he's been pretty durable. He said he dealt with the back problems last year. There's a ground ball. Got a chance to turn this one. Clark to second. Segura returns the throw. Not in time. Safe is the call. Frazier beats it out.
That would have been a review by Ron Renicky in the regular season. It looked pretty close. He had reviews last year, right?
Right. We were the test ballpark for replay review.
Yep, they were testing that last year. Looks like a good call, though, at first base.
That is Billy Miller down there, first base umpire. So with 2 outs, Renicky's going to make a trip to the mound here just to maybe check with Lohse. Let him hang in there, see if he can get through 3.
Probably last hitter at 46 pitches right now. Going to be interesting to see how replay works and what the managers do to stall for time. They don't have to go out and stand there and talk to the umpire anymore. They can stay in the dugout.
Yeah, part of the new rules where you don't have to address the calling umpire, which was the rule last year. You can simply let the home plate umpire know, or any umpire for that matter, the crew chief, if he happens to be at first. You can just let him know from the dugout. We don't have replay in spring training, but in the regular season, that'll be the new protocol. I think that's going to help speed things along.
But it's going to give less time for the replay crews in the dugouts or in the clubhouses to make a determination.
Second at bat for Brennan Bosch, who reached on an infield hit in the second inning. First and third, 2 outs, and that changeup is a beauty today for Lohse.
Yeah, he's got real good command of his off-speed stuff, as he usually does.
He's sitting at 48 pitches right now, 33 for strikes, showing great command. And I would imagine this is going to be his last hitter regardless. 0-2. Got him. Lohse pulled the string again. Down goes Bosch on strikes, and Lohse with 3 scoreless innings, 4 Ks in his 3 innings, and worked around a Brewers error. Good day today for Kyle Lohse. We hope to visit with him when we continue. Cool road, by the way. Lead 1-0. Got a first inning run. Scooter Gennett scored that run on a sac fly by Carlos Gomez, and it's Gennett who leads off here in the bottom of the third. Johnny Cueto back to work, his 3rd inning, probably his final inning. Gennett singled to right and then came around to score on that sac fly. Scooter's trying to get his spring going a little bit. He's wearing sunglasses this year, which is new for him, something that he is eager to try out. Says he always struggles in day games. Up in the air and left, and Bird battling the sun makes the catch for out number 1.
Hey, with the Fans Choice 10-pack, you can pick 10 games you want to attend this season, plus get opening day as your free 11th game, all starting at just $16 a ticket. To start building your Fans Choice 10-pack, call 414-902-HITS or visit brewers.com/10-packs.
Yeah, we're gaining on it. April 6th is opening day. The Colorado Rockies will be in town. Cincinnati is going to open up at home, as they always do, against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And the Brewers start out with 3 games against the Rockies, and the rest of the month is all against the Central. So an important month for the Brew Crew.
Yeah, and especially after the way things ended last year. Every team wants to get off to a good start, but I think it is maybe more important for the Brewers specifically this season, the way the year finished last year. You'd like to be able to put yourself in a position after the first month. Of course, the Brewers had the best April in the big leagues last year. Renick's Brewers. In his time in Milwaukee, the Brewers have been a team that have finished well and not started well. Well, it was the exact opposite last year. Team that was in first place in the division for 150 days. Not there at the end, though. Segura, a little half swing, and he goes through, and that'll be a strikeout for Cueto. Segura is gone. That's the third strikeout for Johnny Cueto.
And unlike normal with the Brewers, I mean, it was offense that was lacking at the end of the season, and starting pitching, bullpen very good, particularly the starters. Month of September, outstanding on the mound, but just could not score runs.
Here's Carlos Gomez.
It's usually not a problem for Brewer baseball.
Yeah, pretty much across the board, you can look at all the top Brewer hitters. And across the board, the second half and the final month of the season, numbers were way down compared to the rest of the year.
And that's the thing you try to avoid. I mean, there's going to be guys that are swinging the bats well, some are not, but in September there really wasn't anybody that was driving the baseball, getting on base. Kind of a team slump, if you will. I don't think anybody realized how bad the thumb was for Ryan Braun in August and September.
3-1 to Gomez. And Cueto misses. Gomez draws the walk. Tried to get him to bite on a breaking ball in a 3-1 count.
That's some respect, right? Big sweeping breaking ball in a 3-1 pitch in spring training.
His pitch count right at 50. That's about where Price wants to keep him today. Similar pattern for Lohse, and Cincinnati does have activity in their bullpen. Cueto does have 2 outs. Aramis Ramirez with Gomez at first. We'll see how eager Gomez is to run. Some of the established stars aren't getting in full game mode just yet. And when you're looking at stolen bases and trying to maybe stretch an extra base, trying to ease into the spring, you don't start seeing the more normal game speed until the last couple of weeks of spring training.
Yeah, we saw Aramis Ramirez try to stretch a single into a double in yesterday's ball game, got thrown out, and immediately got a little bit of a talking to from his manager when he got into the dugout. We don't need that. He hurt himself in spring training last year.
Right. Yeah, Ramirez, he ripped one off the wall in left center field yesterday against Kansas City, and I suppose instincts just take over, and he's on his way to a double. He thinks he rounds first base and then decides about halfway there that there is no chance. There's not another gear to call on at this point. And it was a good throw from the outfield, and he was out by 15 feet. That's been a great career for Ramirez.
Yes, it has.
17 seasons in the big leagues already. He's put up some great numbers. He's among the top home run hitting third baseman of all time. He's 6th currently in home runs.
And doesn't get nearly enough credit for his defense. You don't really appreciate what he does at third until you see him every day.
Well, and his was another bat that was quiet in the home stretch, and especially in September. Ramirez was dealing with hamstring problems as well. He said a realistic number for him this year is to play in 140 games, which means the Brewers are going to need some help at third base. Pop up, foul territory, and Lutz is there to make the catch, reaching into the photographer's well. And the side is retired. Cueto works 3 innings, gives up 1 run, 1-0 Crew. Derby. 3 in the books here at Maryville. The Brewers have a 1-0 lead. And Kyle Lohse, 3 innings, 49 pitches, does not allow a run. He'll give way to Jeremy Jeffress on the mound. And Kyle Lohse kind enough to join us in the Brewers dugout. Good to have you with us, Kyle. Thanks for your time today, and let us know what you thought about your effort, your second start of the Cactus League.
Yeah, it was all right. I was kind of working on a couple things, trying to do a couple things different. Going to face these guys probably about 4 or 5 times this year, so just wanted to try a couple things out, pitching into righties more, but it went well.
Really no secrets between you and the National League Central, but do you save some of your stuff? I mean, you don't give them everything you have, or they pretty much know what you're going to do anhay?
They pretty much know. I don't want them to, come in feeling too comfortable and see if that carries over into the year. But I'm not going to, come up with anything too tricky. I'm just going to go out there and pitch my game and work on what I need to in spring.
Yeah. What was your off season like? What kind of a workout regimen did you have this winter?
The truth or the one?
Well, just tell us what you think we want to hear.
Right.
There was I've worked out every day. No breaks. I barely played golf. Maybe once a month. No, but it was a good off season for me. Got my work in. Hopefully this ball doesn't hit me.
Nice. Good play there by Ramirez.
Nice pick by Clark, too.
You like that? That's a pitcher's friend right there.
Love those. But, a good workout this offseason. Obviously, you got to get in a little golf, have a little fun in the offseason, get some rest. But, just a pretty regular offseason for me.
I've talked a lot to John most of the years about golf and pitching specifically. I don't know if golf works so well with a position player with the swing, but there's a lot of similarities between golf and pitching. Do you find it that you can use both, or is it just purely recreation for you and a time to get away?
A little both. I like golf as a competition, trying to, it's kind of like pitching in that sense where, where I take it, I'm playing against myself, even if I'm playing, a friendly wager on the side. But, I also look at it as very similar to pitching in that, you hit one shot at a time, you make one pitch at a time. You don't, let the last pitch affect their next pitch. And same thing with golf. You just do the best you can in the moment with whatever's in front of you, and try to keep the same mindset. It's pretty similar in that sense.
That's a good team building opportunity as well, as you see the numbers on Jeremy Jeffress, hard throwing right-hander. Talk to us a little bit about the team building with the new rotation as it is. Giovanni Gallardo traded to the Texas Rangers. Now Jimmy Nelson gets his shot, and it's the regular customers, though, outside of that. What's it been like with Jimmy more in the mix this year with your group?
Yeah, got that taste last year of what it's like up here. He got to go through a lot of the stuff that we do during the season, watching the bullpens, hanging out, and really kind of pushing each other to get better, and trying to, Garza, myself, being there for any kind of tips or anything that can help him be more consistent up here. And Fires came up, did a great job last year, and trying to get him right back in that same groove that he was in.
Yeah, Kyle, how much do you guys think about or even talk about, the finish last year, very disappointing, as you go into 2015 and try to find ways to motivate yourself in spring training?
Shouldn't need any more motivation than we got, after coming, as far as we did last year, only to have ourselves come up short. And, there was a little talk early, but really it's really been about turning the page, going out and doing the things we need to be doing to be successful throughout the whole year, and not let a prolonged slump hit the whole team like it did.
Watching Jeremy Jeffress face Donald Lutz, one away. The Brewers have a 1-0 lead, and that one's on the ground. Tough play. Jeanette is there, and he will make the play for out number 2. Couple of ground outs for Jeffress.
There, Kyle, it seems as though you guys are going to have a pretty good bullpen backing you starting pitchers up. I mean, does that come into play as you make a start, knowing that you guys have 7, 8, 9 innings pretty well covered?
Yeah, we got a big part of our bullpen all coming back, and if we get, I don't know who exactly is going to be there come opening day, but we got a lot of good arms. They did a great job for us last year, and you don't go into the game thinking about it like that. Obviously, it's a lot better for Cranny and Ron thinking that way. We're out there as starters trying to go as deep as we can and not worry about when we're going to be taken out or anything like that. We're just out there trying to give the team the best chance, and if we get a lead, to hold it. And we got a lot of good arms. You know, you see JJ, I think he's been having a good spring and everything's been going good. And I don't know what we got, Brox and Henderson coming out today, I think. So, you know, it's a good test, see how the guys are doing early in spring.
Well, Kyle, it's always great to see you. Always enjoy watching you pitch. You're a real pro, man, and we're looking forward to a great year this year. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Thanks, guys.
Kyle Lohse. And he's one of those guys that just gives you a set of comfort, you know, when he's at the top of your rotation. I didn't want to get into the opening day scenario with him. It's a little too early for that. Renicky is not named as opening day starter, but I know Lohse would love that opportunity. There's a drive down the right field line. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. Logan Schaefer. How about that play? A diving catch toward the right field line. A beauty. And Logan Schaefer makes it a 1-2-3 inning. Outstanding. Fox Sports Wisconsin today. We're in the Cactus League in Phoenix, Arizona. The Brewers have a 1-0 lead over the Reds on our Menards scoreboard. Bottom of the fourth we go. Lohse and Cueto are gone. Cueto goes 3, gives up 1 earned run. Lohse 3 innings, no runs on just 2 hits. He had 4 strikeouts. Well, what a play to end the top of the fourth from Logan Schaefer.
They talk about maybe the 5th outfielder for this ball club, and this is what Logan Schaefer gives you. A much tougher play down the line and right for a left-handed throwing outfielder. Kind of a backhand pickup and a nice diving catch by Logan Schaefer. You can see him do that quite a bit.
Reds are going with Ryan Denick here. He's the next pitcher on the mound for Cincinnati. Jeremy Jeffress works a scoreless 4th inning for the Brewers.
Yeah, originally signed by the Kansas City Royals in 2009. Spent most of the year last year in Louisville. AAA for the Reds. 57 games and a .236 earned run average. And worked strictly out of the bullpen.
Gerardo Parra takes a strike from Denick. Now the Brewers are getting healthier by the day. Jonathan Lucroy has been out with a hamstring injury, and he's been participating in most of the baseball drills, just not running yet. But Ron Renicky was telling us earlier today that he is going to go to the Brewers minor league side, which is on campus here at Maryville, and they're going to have inter-squad games Thursday and Friday on the minor league side. Lucroy is going to participate in those games and going to get a lot of at-bats, and if everything goes well, then he'll probably be back in the lineup in a major league game by this weekend or early next week. 3-2 to Parra is outside, ball 4, and Gerardo Parra draws the walk to start the 4th. Well, let's see, Ramirez has a headset on down in the Brewers dugout. Thanks for spending some time with us, Aramis. I'm guessing your day is done then if you're talking to us.
Yeah, that's a 2 beats and 4 innings. That's what we've been doing the last few days.
That's nice. What is your rhythm? I know Renicky gives you a lot of freedom. You've been around a long time. You know what it takes to get ready, but just talk us through that communication with your manager and how much you want to play this time of the year.
This time of year right now, actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be playing between 4 and 5 innings, 2 beats, into the second half of spring training, and then we start playing 7, 8 innings, and I get 3 or 4 at-bats.
It'd be nice to be able to get off to that start you got off to last April when you guys were red hot. You were swinging the bat extremely well. You use the at-bats in spring training for that kind of success?
Yeah, I think so, especially late spring training. I like to play a lot. It worked last year well. I played, I think, 9 out of the last 10 spring training games, and I'm looking forward to do that too.
Yeah, 369 career home runs. We just showed it up here, over 1,300 at-bats or RBIs. You talk about retiring at the end of the season. Can you envision any scenario where you might want to come back?
No. At this point, I will be going after this year. I have a long, nice career. But I think it's time to do something else. I got 3 kids. I've been away for a long, long time. So, I've been playing ball since I was 16. I'm 36, so that's 20 years. I've been playing for a long time. I think enough is enough.
Been playing baseball professionally longer than you've been alive. You've had an incredible career. Are you going to have to guard against being reflective, looking back on your career because you know it is your last season, or are you going to be able to kind of get into the daily activity like you've always done?
I'm still playing this year, so I'm going to look back on my career when I retire. I still got 1 more year in my contract. I have a lot of teammates, my coaches, and everybody count on me for this year. So, I'm not looking back yet. I got 1 more year, and I'm going to do my best.
You're a family man. I know it's important to you to spend time with your family. As you said, part of the reason, wow, this will be your last year. But can you put yourself back into your 19-year-old Aramis self and talk to us about what that was like coming up to the big leagues with the Pirates and this great career that you started way back when? I think it was 99, your first year in the big leagues, right?
98. I came up in 98 when I was 19, like you say. Spent 2.5 years in the minors, and it was kind of quick. I don't think I was ready for it. I don't want to say they rushed me to the big leagues. They just needed their baseman, and I was doing well in the minors, and I was a top prospect, and it didn't work out the first year and a half, and then once I get my feet wet and know how things go up here, I did pretty well.
Man, it's going to be real important for you guys to stay healthy. We remember yesterday's ball game. You trying to get into second base, and you got thrown out, but you went into the dugout. Ron Renicky went over to you. What was he saying to you? Don't do that stuff anymore?
He said, don't slide anymore. He said, I thought you were going to slide spring training because I told him I wasn't going to, but sometimes he just react. You just play the game. The play the game I've been playing for a long time, and there's only one way to play, and there's the way it goes.
I know you spent a lot of time with Gene Segura and some of the other younger players, especially some of the younger Latin players. What kind of things do you try to talk to Segura specifically about? He's coming off a tough year. He was great 2 years ago. You have all this experience. As you mentioned, you've had the ups and the downs. What are some of the things you talk to Segura about at this point of his career?
Well, the main thing, especially Siggy, he has to focus, and the league make adjustment to him. Now he got to make an adjustment back.
Maldonado sends one deep, Aramis. That is way back. And there it goes.
Martin's been swinging the bat well, huh?
Yes, he has.
2-run home run for Martin Maldonado, and the Brewers take a 3-0 lead. That was a no-doubter. Very Aramis Ramirez-like with that swing.
Right now he's way better than me. But yeah, Siggy just has to focus a little bit more. He went through a tough year last year. He went through something that no player or nobody in life had to go through. Some personal reasons, and he just the league make adjustment to it, and I told him you got to make an adjustment back, and if you want to play a long time in this league, you got to make constant adjustments because the pitching's just getting better every year. So got to work a little harder.
How do you approach that role as mentor? I know you've been that kind of player the last few years, and you get at least a decade in the major leagues. Young players start to come to you for advice, so you've been in that role for a while. And how do you approach that role at this point, especially for your final year?
I embrace it because I like to help young guys. I don't care where they're from. I don't care if they're Latin, white, black. Sometimes, you guys know we all Latin guys, we all together, but, I hang with everybody, and I try to help as much as I can. And to answer your question, I like it. I embrace that because I did have some mentors when I was coming up through the minors and the big leagues. So, you just learn a lot by looking at the veterans, how they go about their business.
Who was the guy that took you under his wing when you were a young player, Ramos?
With the Pirates, Al Martin and Kevin Young. And, when I got traded to Chicago, I just looked the way Sammy and Moises Alou went about their business, and, I learned a lot from them.
I remember we showed some highlights. One of your first home runs, I'm not sure it was an exhibition game or not, but you took Joe Crawford deep. Video coordinator, do you remember that home run? You still give
Ramos has said it's the greatest moment of his life.
Yeah, I remember that. That was an exhibition game, and right before the season opened in 2001, and at PNC. Actually, that was the first homer at PNC Park, and Crawford always reminded me that because he said it was a foul ball, and I told him no, I ran around the bases, so it wasn't a foul ball.
That's right.
I don't think you remembered it all, Ramos. I think he remembers it, and you don't. That's the way I see it.
He remember more than me because he blamed me because he got sent down the next day. So.
Right. Speaking of, and my last question for you here before we let you go, do you have any aspirations to coach or scout, run a ball club? Are you going to stay involved in the game when you're done playing?
Right now, at this point, no. I want to stay home for a good 3, 4 years, 5 years, and then, I'm 36, I'll be 37 this summer. I want to spend time with my family a little bit more. I want to do some stuff that, I wanted to do before, but I couldn't because been playing for a long, long time. So once I spend some time with the family and home, I'll probably do something. I'll probably stay in baseball and do something.
Well, Ramos, you've done a lot of great things in this game. One thing you have not done is play in a World Series. Let's hope this is the year.
Hopefully. We're working hard for it.
Be a great way to go out.
All right.
Thanks for joining us, Ramos.
All right, anytime.
Ramos Ramirez, always fun to catch up with him. Very soft-spoken.
Yep, class act, Ramos. Yep.
I think if you look at his numbers and the fact that he's played his entire career in the National League Central, he's just had a great career. Schaefer on the ground, got a chance to turn a double play here, and it is a double play. It goes 4-6-3 to end the inning. However, Martin Maldonado coming up with his first home run of the spring. He's been swinging a red-hot bat. Maldonado, a 2-run shot, makes it 3-0 Crew. fifth inning from Maryville Baseball Park. And our Miller Lite What's on Tap brought to you by Miller Lite. Now on its original can, it's Miller time. Take a look at what the Brewers have coming up at the Giants tomorrow in Scottsdale, home against the Rockies Thursday. And then the Brewers will be on the road against the Mariners Friday. So that's the upcoming week in the Cactus League. Johnny Cueto is on his way home after 3 innings of work today. The Reds ace and a 20-game winner last year. 3 innings with 1 earned run allowed. Big Jonathan Broxton next man up for the Brewers. Jeremy Jeffress worked a scoreless 4th inning. And a great catch by Logan Schaefer to make it a 3-on-3 down inning. Now Broxton gets the ball. Big part of the Brewers' late inning relief. Broxton will set up for Francisco Rodriguez this season, and he is perfectly comfortable doing just that.
We have Frankie having some visa problems getting here to the United States. Talked to Ron Renicky. He might be here early next week. End of the week this week, early next week. Broxton, 30 years old. He'll turn 31 in June. Super year last year, 51 appearances. I should say 62 appearances, 11 of those coming as a Brewer.
Traded from the Reds to the Brewers. Trying to bolster that bullpen. He was looking forward to the opportunity to close. He was setting up for Aroldis Chapman with Cincinnati. Remember, he started the year as a closer last year for the Reds. There's a nice backhanded pickup by Jeanette. And Felix Perez is retired.
Yeah, Scooter does that pretty well. Nice smooth on the backhand, nice soft hands to be able to handle that ground ball on the backhand, and puts himself in good balance to make the throw to first base. Good range from both sides. I think he's a little bit better going up the middle than in the hole, but still pretty good range to both sides.
1 man out for Broxton, and here is Irving Falou. Broxton making his 2nd appearance of the spring. Had a good start to his Cactus League schedule. Worked an inning of scoreless ball his last time out. He's got a decade in the big leagues as well, Jonathan Broxton. Brewers have a ton of experience at the back of their bullpen, with Broxton setting up for Francisco Rodriguez. K-Rod actually has been cleared for the visa in Venezuela, we understand.
Just has to pick it up.
He's got to go get it, and that can be a process in that country, and then he has to get here to Arizona. Ron Renicky was not concerned at all that Francisco would be late or behind. He gets ready very quickly. He's been throwing. He'll need a few games. He's going to get 2.5, 3 weeks of spring training, and that'll be more than enough, said the Brewers manager.
Kind of an interesting process to get these visas for these players from Latin America. You just can't go and get a visa without a contract, apparently. I don't know the whole rules and regulations governing that, but had to get his contract signed and then apply for the visa, which is why it's taken so long for him.
Well, Francisco Rodriguez will be in camp maybe by the end of the week, as Rock mentioned, or early next week. And in the meantime, everybody just gets their work. Broxton with a good slider and a strikeout on Falou.
And last year when he was with the Brewers, he used pretty much all fastballs for whatever reason. But toward the end of the season in September, started to break out the slider. Here's a good one right there, going straight down, and Falou right over the top of it. Good pitch.
Broxton went from the Dodgers to the Royals. Was with the Royals in 2012. They turned him around and sent him to Cincinnati in 2012, and he spent the next 2 full seasons with the Reds until Cincinnati traded him to the Brewers last year. Brewers ended up sending Kevin Shackelford and Barrett Aston to Cincinnati. Originally it was a deal for a player to be named later. Ground ball. Clark knocks it down to his feet. Will step on the bag for the out. Well, we've seen some sparkling defensive plays recently here for the Brewers. And another 3 of 3 down inning. Little cue shot. Clark handles easily. Girls Clubs of America. Boys and Girls Clubs help young people to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens through programs that promote character, leadership, education, and healthy lifestyles. For more information, visit foxsportssupports.com. Outstanding play to end the inning by Matt Clark.
Yeah, but Tony for that error early in the game today and able to smother it and get the out himself.
A funny spin on that baseball right off the end of the bat. 1-2-3 inning for Broxton. And here is J.J. Hoover now. So Ryan Dennett goes an inning, gives up 2 runs. After Cueto's 3 innings, J.J. Hoover on the mound for Cincinnati to start this 5th inning.
Yeah, rough season for him a year ago, that big earned run average. And 2 years before that, earned run averages in the 2s. That was in 2012 and 2013 with Cincinnati.
There's bench coach Jerry Narron ready to make some changes, it looks like. About this time every day in spring training, you start to get the line change, the starters exit. Some of the younger guys or guys who are trying to make the ball club get a chance to play. Scooter Jeanette's 3rd at bat. Scooters had a good game defensively. Had a single and a run scored in the 1st. Yeah, good fastball. Jeanette is rung up. Spotted it perfectly. And a strikeout for Hoover. First out of the 5th inning.
Yeah, not much you can do with that one right there. You just hope to foul it off. That one right on the edge. So good command with the fastball for Hoover. And his first batter today.
1 out for Gene Segura. It was good to hear from Aramis Ramirez. We appreciate him taking a little time in the dugout with us. He and Segura are very close. Kind of a big brother, little brother relationship. And Ramirez.
You see those 2 guys talking all the time. Dugout, batting practice. A lot of times you'll see him in pitching changes having a chat between 3rd and short during a game.
I know Ramirez does it because he cares about Segura. They're buddies. They're teammates. They share the left side of the infield, so they're involved in a lot of the same drills. But from an organizational perspective, you know, you get a chance to have a guy like Ramirez. That's one of the reasons the Brewers were eager to get him back, is because of what he's able to impart on these younger players. And I'll be honest, you know, Ramirez didn't necessarily have that reputation when he was a member of the Cubs.
Yeah.
And Roenicke, when he first got Ramirez here in Milwaukee, was surprised at how good he was as far as teaching the game. He's just not a very charismatic player. He doesn't talk much. But he has high praise for Ramos Ramirez.
I've learned that about a number of players that have come over to trade. Talking about, you know, referring to Uni Betancourt as a guy that was a troublemaker. Really wasn't a good teammate, but he was anything but.
Right.
Brewers had him a couple of times.
Well, I think that speaks to the culture that Roenicke and his coaches have developed here in Milwaukee. I think, you know, when you go around, you talk to players who have been around, and guys like Kyle Lohse and Matt Garza. Carlos Gomez was talking about Roenicke the other day. He said he's the best manager he's ever played for. Gomez has played for some very good managers. But that culture that he's implemented here, and there's a lot of communication. Nobody's in the dark. Nobody feels like they don't have a say. And I think a lot of guys have thrived under this. We were interested to know why Ramirez took the 1 year, the qualifying offer from the Brewers, knowing he could have got a multi-year deal easily. But then when he got to spring training, he revealed that this was going to be his final year, and he doesn't want to play for any other manager, and he doesn't want to play for any other team than the Brewers. So then it all made sense.
Yeah. That makes a difference. You get up there in age, you want to play for a guy that you have confidence in and put you in a position to succeed. And Roenicke does value the opinion of his veteran guys. Guys like Ramirez, K-Rod, Lohse.
Peterson sends one deep to center field. Ball's got some carry, and it is up, and it looks like it's gone. It is a home run for Shane Peterson in his first at bat. It's a 2-run shot, and the Brewers lead 5-0. Well, that ball just kept carrying and carrying.
Yeah, not much wind or breeze today, and what wind there is blowing ever so slightly out to center field. Peterson doing a great job on a breaking pitch. He got under it just a little bit, but able to carry it out of here to center field. That's a nice swing. Pretty smooth swing. Good balance, and just over that yellow stripe by about 4 or 5 feet. There was a day a few years ago where you had to hit it over that batter's eye. Talk about a blast.
Yeah, I didn't see many go over that.
No.
Peterson with a bomb. He's another guy trying to make this club as an extra outfielder. Luis Jimenez sends one to center. That 2 has some carry, and Negron fighting the sun makes the catch for out number 2.
It's got to go over that yellow line for a home run. And just does make it over.
Yeah, good call. I was watching the umpires there at spring training for them as well. Dale Scott, Bruce Streckman, Billy Miller, they're all looking out there. Dale Scott is the umpire behind second base, and they all kind of looked at each other as the ball went out. And Dale Scott said, you know, that looked like a home run to me.
Yep.
I trusted my instincts here.
Yeah, Brew Crew needs a win. That's a homer.
And well, his instincts were correct. Peterson very happy about that. This is Brian Peterson at the plate. No relation to Shane. And a fly ball to left. Bird will settle under it, and that will retire the side. So the Brew Crew playing long ball today. Martin Maldonado and Shane Peterson with 2 two-run homers.
6th inning here at Maryvale. Hey, it's official. Nationally acclaimed artist Joe Nichols' OAR and the Goo Goo Dolls will be performing at Miller Park this year as part of the first ever Brewers post-game concert series. That's presented by Miller Lite. For tickets, call or visit brewers.com/concerts. Don't call anywhere. You got to go online.
That's a good looking lineup of concerts this summer. Now Shane Peterson, a 2-run home run for the Brewers in the 5th, and his first at bat. He'll stay in the game to play center. All of the positions have changed. Luis Jimenez now at third base for Milwaukee. Hector Gomez takes over at short. That is Pete Orr. And Jim Henderson is on the mound for the Brewers. He's got a new catcher back there. Adam Weisenberger is behind the plate. Henderson in his comeback spring after shoulder surgery.
That'd be nice to get Henderson back in the mix. Yeah, spent most of the year on the disabled list. His first 2 times out have been pretty good. You can see relegated to only 14 appearances last year.
Facing Chad Wallach, Reds catcher. His first at bat. In there for Brian Pena. Henderson has pitched well in a couple of outings. He pitched against UWM, the college team, and he pitched well. He is not allowed a run. He's been efficient. Hey, good catch up there on a hop. Got a baseball with the Rob Manfred signature on it.
Yeah, new this year. Our buddy Bud Selig retiring, not completely, but I've seen Bud around the ballpark this week, or I should say last week.
Henderson deals a 1-2, and it's fouled away. Pete Orr taking over at second base. There's Hunter Morris at first. He's in there for Matt Clark. Henderson spikes that breaking ball. So you got the 2 Petersons in the outfield, Shane and Brian. Brian takes over in right. And I believe there's Brian. The right-handed version of the Petersons. And there is Matt Long, a utility man, outfielder / infielder. Got them all, partner?
I got them. They're written down.
Fly ball to right between the Petersons. Shane calling. He's got it for the out. Wallach retired.
I don't really need to have them, actually.
That's a good point.
I mean, you have to have them. I can just say center fielder.
It is the most stressful part of the day for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
The 5th and 6th inning.
Need a good spotter. Somebody on their toes.
It's a lot of changes. It's all right. That's the fun part of spring training.
Makes the regular season a piece of cake.
Yeah, no doubt.
They show up on April 6th, and heck, the same 8 guys are going to play the whole game.
Right. It's a bonus. Frazier getting his 3rd at bat, just returning to the lineup after a back injury had him on the shelf. He is 0 for 2 today. Lohse started for the Brewers, went 3 scoreless. Pitched well. Had 4 strikeouts. Didn't walk a batter. Pitched around an error. Jeffress and Broxton with scoreless innings. 3 up, 3 down frames for those 2 relievers. And now Henderson is on here in the 6th. And he puts a fastball right by Frazier.
There's something on it. So Jim Henderson looking good early on in spring training. Here it is, hit it. Good fastball hitter, and he blows it right by him.
That's good to see Henderson back. He has been through a shoulder surgery in the past. and made his way back to the big leagues. Had to go through a second shoulder surgery. Shoulder surgery is a lot different than the elbow surgeries, as Bosch sends one to right center, and it gets by Peterson. Shane recovers it, and Bosch into second base with a double. Boy, this guy continues to hit. He's got 2 more hits today.
Yeah, got it down on the end of the bat, but Peterson just not able to get over there into the gap. He didn't hit it all that well, had some air under it, but Peterson, well, he took a little bit of a late break on it and not able to make the catch. But a good job of backing up by Shane Peterson to keep him at second base.
First hit for the Reds since the 3rd inning. And Cincinnati with 3 hits today. Bosch has 2 of them. Here's Marlon Byrd on the first pitch. A shot on a hop. Hector Gomez gloves and throws him out. Great play there. Not only did he have to deal with the line drive short hop, but also the base runner. Beautiful play to win the inning. Scoreless frame for Henderson. Hotline scoreboard, whatever the project. Know what's below. Digger's Hotline. Famous Racing Sausages doing their thing here at Maryville. Looks like the Brat was the runaway winner today. A lot of fun here at Maryville. We hope you get a chance to come visit us this spring. Wherever you're watching today, Phoenix is a great place to watch spring training. John Moscott, 23-year-old right-hander, on the mound for the Reds as we head to the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, 4th rounder in 2012 out of Pepperdine University. Big, tall, right-handed pitcher. Split time between Louisville and Pensacola last year in the Red system. Getting an opportunity to show what he can do here in the 6th inning at Maryville.
5-0 Brew Crew. Out hit the Reds 6-3. Pete Orr gets his first at bat of the day. Checked in defensively last inning.
There you go.
Outstanding beard. That took some work. That is very well done. What's the original color on that beard? Looks like a good primer gray. The way those colors popped, right?
Yep.
The veteran Orr got some big league time with the Phillies. Canadian, and he lines one into to right. That's going to fall a base hit. Yes, great look. I saw him before the game.
That's going all out in spring training.
I wanted to take my picture with him, but I didn't want to be that guy.
You didn't want to?
I didn't ask him. I felt embarrassed. You know, I was trying to drum up the courage. He was taking a lot of photographs.
Got to be careful. You might get some yellow dye on your shoulder.
Well, I was thinking about that.
Or actually the top of your head.
I could use a little dye on the top of my head, actually. Hector Gomez, first at bat. He's in the spot that was vacated by Maldonado. In the air to center. That's going to be playable for Negron. And there is out number 1. Gomez made a heck of a play to win that last inning.
Yeah, tough hop.
Shielded by the base runner. And one of those top spin line drives off the bat of Marlon Byrd.
The advantage of staying in front of it. Try and play that on the backhand. It's probably going to be a run. Stayed in front of it and has plenty of arm to get the out at first.
Getting his first real time at shortstop. The Brewers know Hector can play short. That's why they've been playing him in other positions. They're confident what he can do at the shortstop position. That's his natural position. So he's played a lot of second and third base. Jason Rogers, the DH today, takes the strike. Third at bat for Rogers, who is 2 for 2. A couple of singles. Going to be a real battle for that final spot on the bench for the Brewers. Here's a play by Gomez to end the inning.
Wants a runner at second base, has to dive out of the way, which shields the baseball from Gomez. And look at the throwing arm. Sidearm flip, something on it to get the out.
Always enjoy watching Hector play. There goes the runner, or the throw to second is in time. Good throw by Wallach, the new Reds catcher. That was a tough pitch to handle as well. And Wallach put it right on the money. 4 is thrown out.
Watch the footwork. Down and away. Look at the footwork. Very quick feet and gets on the top of it. And able to make a straight throw to second base. You don't use those feet. You don't get in position with the feet. That arm drops, and that's when the baseball sails on you. Nice job by Wallach.
Rogers in a 2-1 count. Muscles one foul. Rogers, a couple of years ago, was the Brewers minor league player of the year. That's when he really started to put his name in the hat as a big league potential player. And he lines one to right. Rogers with his 3rd hit of the day. 3 for 3, 3 singles. That was a good piece of hitting there.
Pulled the hands in, able to get enough of the barrel of the bat on it to dump it into right. Not a bad pitch by Muscat. Let's check out the throw from Wallach. Watch the quick feet. Down and away, tough to get yourself in position, but he squares the feet up, is able to get the arm on top, and you get a true throw to second base. No tail at all on it.
That's a big out for the Reds. Rogers follows with a single, but with 2 outs now, a man at first for Hunter Morris. Go from one former minor league player of the year to another in Hunter Morris. He's trying to wrestle his career back. Morris has kind of stalled a little bit at the upper levels. He had a year in 2012, one of the best years by a Brewers minor leaguer. 28 homers. He drove at 113. Put himself in a great position to be the Brewers' first baseman for 2013. It just didn't work out that way. Still only 26 years of age. He's got time. But he's been taken off the roster. Comes to spring training as a non-roster invitee.
It's a big jump, AA to AAA. I think that's a bigger jump than AAA to the big leagues.
Hit just 11 homers last year in 91 games. Had some injury problems. And a wave and a miss. Morris down on strikes. Wallach will secure it at first, and that will retire the side. So the Brewers come up empty in the 6th inning. We head to the 7th here at Maryvale. It's 5-0 Crew. Courtesy of Hupy and Abraham, Wisconsin's largest personal injury law firm. 5-0 Brewers. They have a pair of 2-run homers today. Martin Maldonado continues his hot hitting, and Shane Peterson, who went over the center field fence in the 5th. Kyle Lohse went 3 scoreless innings today, struck out 4. And they've gotten good work out of their relief corps as well. There's a familiar face on the mound. It's got a new number. Wei-Chung Wong.
At the Rule 5 selection last year in the offseason for the Brewers, they had to keep him in the big leagues, didn't pitch much, as the numbers would indicate. Well, it's going to be a different season for him this year. He's able to go down to the minor leagues and develop down in the minors. We'll see where he ends up this year, and hey, just hope for the best for Wei-Chung Wong. Good guy. Gonna miss Jay, though. Jay Shee, his interpreter.
Well, let's hope Wong can pitch his way back to the big leagues. He'll go down and be a starting pitcher in the minor leagues. I believe they've got him slated for either high A ball or double A this year. Brian O'Grady's the batter for Cincinnati. Reds start to make some changes now. 5-0 Crew. They've out-hit the Reds 7-3 today. Couple of homers. Martin Maldonado with his first homer of the spring. He is now 5 for 9 in the Cactus League. That's swinging a hot bat. He's driven in 3. By the way, Kyle Lohse gave up 3 hits today, sporting a stellar 1.59 ERA through his first 2 outings in the Cactus League. Racking up some strikeouts. He's got more strikeouts than innings pitched. He's not a strikeout pitcher per se, but he picked up 4 of them today in 3 innings.
Good command of off speed, curveball, changeups. 2 good pitches for him today.
The 1-2, and O'Grady pops it foul and out of play. Wong delivers, and down and in it goes. Wong was in a tough spot last year, but certainly made the most of it. And as happy as he was to be in the big leagues, wasn't quite ready to pitch at the big league level. But the rest of the relievers took Wong under their wing, helped him out, helped him stay confident. He delivers a fastball on the corner, well placed. Strike 3 called. O'Grady is out. First batter faced for Wong is a K.
Well, you figure when he goes down to the minor leagues, Wong's going to be able to get that consistent every 5th day work, and really struggled with his control, and most of his strikes were getting a lot of the plate, and he was getting hit hard. But you get that routine, you can, the pressure is going to be off him down in the minor leagues, and you would figure he's going to be able to develop very quickly. He's got great stuff.
Alex Blandino is the batter on the first pitch. He skies to center. 2 up and 2 down for Wei Chung Wong.
When you're pitching maybe once every 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, I mean, you're not going to be able to command your breaking ball too much. And that was certainly the case for him last year. So it's all fastballs, and the numbers showed what happens when you just throw fastballs.
Well, the Brewers felt like it was worth the risk to carry the extra pitcher in Wong, who typically only pitched in lopsided affairs. Keep him in their organization. Had they sent him to the minor leagues, they would have had to make him available for the Pirates to reclaim, which they certainly would have. Now Wong is a member of the organization. He can go back to the minor leagues now that he's made it through that 1 year. It's one of those quirky rules in baseball called the Rule 5 draft, the major league portion of it.
Yeah, you really have to want a guy pretty badly in the low minor leagues to pick him off the Rule 5, because then you have to keep him in the big leagues. That protects organizations from losing their players down in the minor leagues.
Well, the Brewers are very hopeful that they can develop Wong into a big league starter. They have struggled finding and developing a left-handed starter at the major league level, and Wong has all the stuff, all the pieces to be an excellent talent. We'll see how he progresses. Good outing today for Wong. He goes 3 up, 3 down, gets a ground ball out off the bat of Perez. 1, 2, 3, 7. Stretch time at Maryville.
Well, stretch time here at Maryville. The Brewers with a 5-0 lead. And follow the Brew Crew from the palm of your hand with MLB.com at bat, the official app of the Milwaukee Brewers. Keep up with the crew all season long with live look-ins, replays, scoring updates, insider content, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today, free for your smartphone or tablet.
It's a great tool. Keeps you connected to the game in a great way. Here we are in the bottom of the 7th, and the Brewers lead 5-0 over the Reds. Adam Weisenberger batting for the first time. He's been getting some playing time this spring in the absence of Jonathan Lucroy. Moscott still on the mound for Cincinnati. His second inning of work. Weisenberger down the right field line. That is slicing, but it stays fair. Extra bases for Weisenberger. He'll roll into second with a double.
And the Brewers have been making some pretty good contact today. I mean, Weisenberger got jammed a little bit, but able to fight it off down the line. Check out the pitch. A sinker coming in on his hands, but pulls him in. And able to get the big part of the bat on it. Dumps it down the right field line. Leadoff double for the Brewers.
And that'll bring up Matt Long now.
Seen Weisenberger over the last 3 years now, and good quality defensive catcher. These guys, Weisenberger, guys like that, Long, they love these at bats.
Trying to leave a mark, make an impression. Long is a guy that has played exclusively in the outfield here. There's a bunt. That's a beauty. Moscot barehands it, throws, and it is just in time.
Still a good out, though. He gets Weisenberger over to third base. Those are things that any organization is going to keep an eye on. You know, you got a man at second, nobody out, even in spring training with a 5-0 lead. Get him over somehow. Long drops it down. It was a bunt for a base hit, but Moscot jumped off that mound quickly to get the out.
And they'll give him a sacrifice for that. So he moves the runner to third. And here is Shane Peterson, who homered his last time up. Yeah, Matt Long's a guy that has he's played in the outfield this spring, but he's a guy that can also play second base. Kind of a Skip Schumacher type player. On the ground with the infield end, but right at Gonzalez. Runner has to stay put. Peterson is out. 2 outs in the inning now. Now to bring up Luis Jimenez. Jimenez, a corner infielder. Brewers picked up from the Angels. Angels took him off the roster. Jimenez snatched up by Milwaukee. On the ground to short. Blandino makes a play to end the inning. So after a leadoff double, Moscot settles down, retires the next 3. 5-0 Crew. We head to the 8th. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Milwaukee Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder, our producer, director Marty Tarr. Great to have you with us today. Wei Chung Wong back on the mound. He'll start his second inning of work. A 5-0 Milwaukee lead. Wong with an impressive 7, 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. Luis Gonzalez, the batter for Cincinnati. Took over for Falou at second base. Now Wong has been on the attack. Throwing a lot of strikes. Native of Taiwan, Wei Chung Wong. 0-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Made it look easy. Second strikeout for Wong.
Confidence is a huge thing for a guy like Wong. Young pitcher. He's trying to get his feet wet at this level, and he's starting to field a little bit. I mean, getting that confidence. He's got the pitches. It's just a matter of getting that consistent work and being able to develop. And that's what the Brewers are hoping for this year.
Siri is the batter, Jose Siri, and he fouls the pitch away. Reds are back at the top of their order, if you're keeping the scorebook. And a good pitching day for the Brewers, starting with Lohse, who went 3. Jonathan Broxton worked a scoreless inning with a strikeout. Henderson worked a scoreless inning with a strikeout as well. He gave up just 1 hit. Jeremy Jeffress worked a scoreless frame. What kind of questions do you have for Siri, Rob?
Right now?
Right now.
None. Watching a game. Did I miss something? Oh, I get it. Siri. I wasn't watching that close, was I?
2 strike pitches inside, 1-2.
I do use that quite a bit.
Yeah? What's your go-to Siri request? What's the temperature?
I don't have a go-to, but I did ask her who won the NCAA basketball tournament last year.
Did you?
Kentucky, or Connecticut, rather. They beat Kentucky.
Right. We were just thinking about your NCAA trivia.
Wife was asking me who won it last year. I forgot. You would have known that right off the top of your head, right?
I would, but that's okay.
I mean, you're in it.
Kind of in it a little bit more than you. Kevin Ollie and the Huskies of UConn.
Who do you got this year?
How about the Wisconsin Badgers?
Nice. That's a good answer.
It's not a homer answer either. I honestly think they could win it all.
Wisconsin and Kentucky again.
Kentucky, Duke, Wisconsin, Virginia, Villanova is very good. But you never know in the big dance. Things change. Siri to short. Gomez has a long throw, and Siri beats it out. Good play by Gomez, but too much speed by Siri. Infield hit.
Yeah, once this ball gets by third base, Jimenez is not able to make a play. You knew it was going to be a tough play for Gomez. Even with his great arm, Siri has good speed. Now, when you ask Siri questions on your phone, does it have an accent?
I don't use Siri.
You don't?
No. I'm not sure why. I'm not against it. I just don't do it. Got a chance to turn it here, Siri. As it goes 6-4-3. How many innings, Siri, for Wei Chung Wong today? Looks like 3.
2 scoreless.
So far. 5-0 Brewers. 10-0, but that's eager. It's just 5-0. And a reminder to join Fox Sports Wisconsin for UW Milwaukee and Marquette University College night. When the Bucks battle the Pacers Thursday, March 26th, you get a $15 ticket, plus your choice of either a UW Milwaukee or Marquette University retro Bucks t-shirt in your school colors and a beverage. First 10,000 fans at the game will receive a Bucks cap. Take advantage of the special offer. Visit bucks.com/BucksU. Enter the promo code UWMRush or MARQ Rush. Spring training baseball in the Cactus League here. And the Brewers on top 5-0. They've out-hit the Reds 7-5. Excellent pitching today. The new pitcher for Cincinnati is Carlos Contreras. Brian Peterson leads off for Milwaukee. Fouls it away.
Contreras appeared in 17 games last year for the Cincinnati Reds, all out of the bullpen. A .652 earned run average. We have a couple of home runs and just about as many walks as strikeouts.
Contreras, a little big league time last year. It's always great to get together with the Brewers and the Reds because you have two of the legends of broadcasting working games. Bob Uecker is back on the mic here today after receiving the Vince Lombardi Award of Excellence. There's Mr. Baseball. Uecker and Joe Block. Jeff Levering is in there. And then for the Cincinnati Reds, the Hall of Fame announcer Marty Brennaman as well. It's like a Hall of Fame corner. We're right in between.
Yeah.
Bob Uecker and Marty Brennaman. Marty's working with Jeff Bradley in the Reds radio booth. There's Marty. Remember a few years ago, Marty, who had this great lock of hair, he shaved it off. He bet, I believe it was Chris Spire at the time, that if the Reds went on a 10-game winning streak, he'll shave his head.
And he did it.
And they won 10, and he shaved his head, and he's never gone back to the old look. Peterson flies to left, and there is out number one. Yeah, he liked the look so much. They actually shaved his head on the field. It was a big promotion. They raised a lot of money. And he's kept that look.
Man of his word, isn't he?
He's a good man, Marty Brennaman.
Yep.
His son Tom is the television announcer. He's not with the club today. Great announcer in his own right. So always fun to get together with those guys.
Hey, we see a lot of them.
Yes, we do. Second at bat for Pete Orr. I remember when I was in college and my older brother was pitching for the Reds at the time in his only year in the major leagues, but he pitched for Cincinnati, and I went up in the booth with Marty Brennaman. He invited me up to the booth. I wanted to be an announcer, and he said, why don't you come on up and sit in with me and Joe Nuxhall. Joe Nuxhall was his partner at the time. They were a legendary tandem in Cincinnati, and so I'm sitting right in between Marty Brennaman and Joe Nuxhall at the Astrodome in Houston. And Marty's calling the game, and Joe Nuxhall has his head up against the wall. He's asleep. He's dead asleep in the middle of the game. And Marty was talking about how cold it was inside the Astrodome at the time. Oh, they must have the air conditions turned up today. As Orr strikes out, and right on cue, Joe Nuxhall woke up, raised his hand for the engineer to turn the mic on. He leaned in and goes, put another log on the fire, Marty.
And then we're back to sleep.
And they went right back to sleep.
Yeah.
And Marty was just laughing.
He knows what's going on.
I said, now this is the way to do it. This is the big leagues right here. They were a great tandem.
Yeah, Joe Nuxhall.
Miss old Joe, the late Joe Nuxhall.
Big boy.
He was in the big leagues, Joe Nuxhall, at age 15.
Yeah, during the war.
How about that?
Had to ride his bike to the ballpark.
Incredible. Incredible story. Incredible man he was, Joe Nuxhall. These days, Marty working with the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley.
Got his soda over there, does he?
Oh, he's probably 10 deep in the sodas today.
Yeah.
Jeff Brantley. Hector Gomez rips one foul. Speaking of broadcasting, Rock, by the way, upcoming schedule for the Brewers.
There's Jeff Brantley, the Cowboy.
It's going to be radio only tomorrow as the Brewers play the Giants. So Uke and Joe Block, Jeff Levering will be there on the Brewers radio network. Webcast Thursday and Friday before we're back on television this Saturday. 1-2-3 inning. The Brewers go quietly in the 8th. Last call for the Reds. We're headed to the 9th. 5-0 Brewers. Game summary with the Brewers on top, 5-0. A passion for patient care, Columbia St. Mary's. To the 9th we go. The Reds are coming up. The Brewers have a new pitcher on the mound, Tyler Cravey, in for Wei Chung Wong, who is impressive with 2 scoreless innings today.
Pep spent most of the year battling injuries. Cravey, most of his time on the mound was with Huntsville in Double-A. 14 appearances, a 172 earned run average. Looking to close this one out here today.
Got Taylor Sparks leading off for Cincinnati. Brewers are looking for their first win of the Cactus League, starting 0-5 this year. I was talking to the manager, Renicky, before the game. He said, you know, I'm not too worried about it. I'd like to put some wins on the board. There's some things, though, that I'm more focused on right now, making sure guys are building up, starting pitchers are building up their innings. And the Brewers are playing a lot of close games. A lot of the games that they've lost have been comebacks by the opponent late in games.
Had leads late that young kids not able to close it out.
But Renicky did say he's asking his players to tighten up defensively, just play the game the right way, play smart. A well-pitched game today. There's been one error, but it has been a pretty good defensive day for the Brewers. There's the scoop and a shovel, and safe is the call. Morris got it to Cravey, but foot must have been off the bag. Sparks is safe. No replay in effect here in the Cactus League.
Yeah, he must have missed the bag. It looked like he has him. Yeah, he didn't have his foot on the bag. You're right. Good call at first base.
So that'll go as a hit, infield hit for Sparks. And a man on for Aristides Aquino. '20-year-old prospect of the Reds, Aquino. We'll be back on Brewers television on Saturday against the Cubs. We've got both games for you this weekend on Fox Sports Wisconsin against the Cubs and the Oakland Athletics, Saturday and Sunday. Be our first look at the Chicago Cubs, who are winless as well in the Cactus League at this point. Getting into the second week of the schedule. Brewers opened up Cactus League play last Thursday. Second time through the starting rotation. Kyle Lohse went 3 innings today, scoreless. There's a walk. Cravey misses down and away. And the Reds putting up a fight here in the 9th. A reminder that the Brewers Community Foundation harnesses the pride, passion, and commitment of our fans, players, and other supporters to positively impact the community. 100% of Brewers players will support the community in 2015. We all appreciate and look forward to making a difference in our community. Cecilia Gore, Katina Shaw doing a great job at the Community Foundation. Fly ball to left. Jimmy Pickens skies out for the first out of the inning. Brewers are going to send up Matt Garza tomorrow. Brewers Giants matching up against the reigning world champs. Garza against Tim Hudson tomorrow. That game will be in Scottsdale. At Peralta against the Rockies on Thursday. Mike Fiers and Jay Happ Friday in Seattle. I beg your pardon. In Peoria against Seattle.
I know what you meant.
I don't want anybody driving to Seattle.
I don't think they would have.
Watch an exhibition game. What a bummer that would be. Pulling up to Safeco Field. No, the guy on television said the Brewers were here today.
Yeah, it might not be a game, but it's kind of a nice town to hang out in.
No doubt.
Get hit in the head with a fish.
Pike's Place. No trips to Seattle for us this year in the regular season. Brewers are going to match up against the American League Central in interleague play this year. One gone, 9th inning, 5-0 Brewers. And down and in to O'Grady. His second at bat. Cravey to O'Grady. That's a big league hair right there for Tyler Cravey. It's like a rock star. It's a liner to right, base hit. Runner at second. Sparks got a late jump, so he'll hold his ground. And the bases are loaded with one away. Alex Blandino now, second at bat for him as well. Cravey looking for that ground ball to get out of here and preserve the shutout. Give the Brewers their first win of the Cactus League. Wins don't mean a whole lot unless you're 0-for.
Right, yeah, 0-5, you need a win. And with a 5-0 lead in the 9th. These are the ones you can't let get away.
one caught the corner. Good pitch. 1-2 for Cravey. Brewers got two two-run homers today. Shane Peterson in the 5th. Martin Maldonado hit a 2-run bomb in the 4th. Carlos Gomez had the other RBI, had a sac fly in the 1st inning off Johnny Cueto. For the Reds, Cueto went 3 innings, gave up 1 run on 3 hits. He had 3 Ks today. Just over 50 pitches for Cueto. There's a ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. This is going to bring in 2 runs. And the shutout has been broken. A 2 RBI single for Blandino. It's 5-2 now, and the tying run will come to the plate for Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cravey just can't keep the baseball down, and Ron Renneke on his way out. He does not want to let this one get away. Tying run now at the plate for Cincinnati.
So Cravey is out. Renneke is going to give the ball to another one of his young hurlers to try to seal this one up. We'll take a break. We'll set up the new pitcher when we continue. First win. It is now 5-2. The Reds will bring the tying run to the plate. And Renneke makes a pitching change. He's going to give the ball to David Goforth to try to close this one out.
Well, he's got the tying run to deal with at the plate with only 1 out. So Brewers in desperate need of a ground ball to end this one. Ordinarily, it doesn't really matter, but when you're 0-5, as we talked about, you need to get one in the win column.
Goforth is on the Brewers 40-man roster. Had 27 saves last year in Double-A Huntsville. He's the right man for the job. Used to this late inning work, and now throws that one away, and both runners will advance. So that takes the double play opportunity out. On the first pitch, a wild pitch, and it'll be 2nd and 3rd with 1 away. Goforth, one of the highly rated pitching prospects in the Brewers system. Facing Garrett Boulware here with 1 away. And a fastball strike in there.
Yep, right over the top, and not much movement, but he gets it in there pretty good. He's got good velocity on that fastball.
Second and 3rd, 1 out. 5-2 is the score now. And a ground ball to the right side. Morris to Goforth for the out. That's out number 2. Another run scores. 5-3 Brewers with 2 away. Last out for Cincinnati. And it'll be Luis Gonzalez at the plate. Goforth had been a starter for a couple of years in the Brewers minor league system, and then moved to the bullpen exclusively last year. He made the jump from A-ball to Double-A in 2013, did go forth, and then last year in 54 games he saved 27, had fewer hits than innings pitched. Not a big strikeout pitcher, but showed good command in that role. There's a foul ball back our way. Look out.
Right into the booth. Nice catch.
No balls and a strike. And 1-1 the count. Rock's making some friends.
Well, there was some guy down there just hooting all over me. The ball was over in the corner. Did you hear him?
Oh, I heard he said that was terrible. I just assumed he meant Toby, our camera.
No, he was talking about,
I didn't know he was talking about us.
Thinking we were actually going to keep the baseball. But, yeah.
I can understand how that would look.
Well, no, you just can't randomly fire a ball down here. We're kind of high up, and you might hurt somebody.
So you pitched it down. Did somebody catch it?
I made sure it just, landed on the stairway. Young kid got it, though. That's good.
Good. Reds down to their last strike. 1-2 the count. Swing and a miss. Go forth. Secures the first win of the year. Big win right there, Rock.
More importantly, I hope that gentleman doesn't come up to me, because he looked a little still upset with me.
That is important.
But
so
anyway,
the Brewers win at 5-3. They beat the Reds. They go to 1-5. Go for it. The save. We'll take a timeout. Final thoughts right after this.